Welcome back to the Jagged Edge. John, Javal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good as always.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. How are you doing?
Happy Father's Day to Trevor Lawrence, the
Oh,
father of the
absolutely.
Happy Father's, father of of both the Los Angeles Chargers and Tennessee Titans.
Oh, absolutely. Father of the AFC South. Who else? What other dads can we thank? Of course, Doug Peterson.
Pug
Father of the
Dieterson,
offense. Yeah, Pug Dieterson, exactly. Pug Dieterson.
shout out
Trent
Frank
Baalke.
Gore.
Frank Gore. Oh,
Funny.
yes.
Have to tell this pod the funniest story.
Oh,
So I was in like South Florida a couple weeks ago, and I went out to watch the game two of the finals with some of my friends there. And I remember one of my friends too, we had like this joke where he always sees famous people. Like he saw Lamar Jackson at a park nearby. I was super jealous, right? But he always sees famous people. And then so we go out to eat and we saw the man who got Trevor Lawrence, the Jags himself. We saw Frank Gore out at Hooters getting wings with us. So it was kind of bittersweet because my friend, he's a Jets fan and I'm a Jags fan. So it was
oh,
a
ooh,
little bit
that's a little awkward. That's a little bit awkward.
I wanted to go up and hug Frank Gore, just to give him a big bear hug. Just thank you for everything you've done for this
I wonder
franchise.
if any Jaguar fan has actually approached him and be like, "Thank you." I'm
I
just
was
kidding.
this close to doing it. I
You
didn't
should
want to,
have. Why didn't you?
he wasn't, he was just kind of chilling. I don't want to draw too much attention. Just give him a
Oh,
big hug. But shout out Frank Gore. I hope you're doing a great day. And yeah, if you're ever in South Florida again and I see you, just know I'm giving you a bear hug. Or if you ever come up to if Frank Gore ever wants to just get free drinks, to just show up to the city of Jacksonville.
he probably would.
He could walk into any bar and be like, I don't even think he need to say a word. Like every Jags fan should just be like, this is the reason.
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of Trevor Lawrence, the big news that we missed because I was out of town in Orlando last week and just didn't line
Not
up.
invite me.
Oh my goodness. I know you went back home. That's crazy. Family matters. Anywho, we finally have a look at the stadium plans for Beyond. Can you see just okay?
Yeah, I can see.
All right. We're gonna just take a look at it one more time and then just kind of go through our thoughts about all of this once again. I don't know if they can see it,
Jacksonville
but we'll
unites
just do
us.
whatever.
We're all connected to this place by our beaches and our waterfront, by our culture, by our people, and yes, by our sports. Our city is on the cusp of something great, a bold city with a bold vision for the future, and our stadium is part of that.
I told you earlier in the game, the Jags drive looked like this. Oh man, I just can't describe this.
So when you first saw that rendering for the first time, what were your thoughts? It just seeing like what the future stadium could look like, Javal. Someone that's out of the city,
I'm
that
gonna be
just goes in
completely
occasionally.
gonna be completely honest. I only looked at the renderings. I didn't see the full video.
Oh,
I
so
saw
this is your
bits
first
and
time watching
pieces.
this.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I mean, man, I've been thankful where out of the Jacksons I've been to, they're the more end of the year, but that'll change. I know I'm definitely going to Chiefs game. So I haven't been to peak September Jacksonville heat. So I can't really say, you know, I've been through the heat, but just I, you know, it's Florida. It's hot, especially the earlier months. So
And you've
roof
definitely
is
been
definitely
to
a nice
UCF
touch.
for like football games, I'd assume. So I could only imagine that it would be kind of similar to what that kind of atmosphere would be like
Just even like
August,
how the
September
Dolphins
football.
Stadium, how they have the retractable roof like on their side, or like how they have the shade for the Dolphins players, but it's hotter for the opponents. Just,
Hmm.
that's a nice touch. So I'm really excited to see. I'm just, it's so bittersweet when you see a stadium being built now because we see a stadium being built because all you want to do is just fast forward, where it's like,
Oh,
okay.
For sure. Since this
I
is your
want.
first, I didn't know this was your first time though, so I'm just gonna run this uninterrupted. Then we can just talk about this more.
Moment. I'm going to seal it up and live with it the rest of my life. Not yet.
This transformation will become a catalyst for Jacksonville that transcends the Jaguars and the NFL, creating a revitalized and re-energized urban destination that will show everyone and remind us that we are indeed proud, bold, and committed. Jacksonville is ascending, and the nation is taking notice. We have a growing workforce. We have a robust healthcare and higher education community. And of course, we have the Jaguars, ready to defend their AFC South Division title, but hungry for more. It's our time to show the world that Jacksonville has arrived. The transformed stadium will be a shining beacon on the water, welcoming and dynamic, connecting our neighborhoods and waterfronts, and creating a new measure for what a sports and entertainment experience can and should be. Fans will enter through a tropical Floridian park into the concourse, now raised 30 feet above ground level, providing unmatched views to the city and the water. Now 4 times as wide.
Okay, I'm gonna pause one more time because have you ever watched? I would assume you've watched the Boondocks before, right, Javal?
Oh, love that show.
Oh,
10 out
so
of 10.
like the woman with the bag, like right here. My fiance loves sending me the clip where Granddad keeps tackling when he worked for TSA, where he tackled the tackled the person for the bottle of shampoo.
10 out of 10. 10 out of
Yeah.
10 show.
So like, whoever rendered this, 0 out of 10. There's no way that bag's getting through security. I can't even try that. Not in these days.
The course will be punctuated with interactive social bars and food offerings native to our home in Jacksonville. Using state-of-the-art materials and the latest technology, a shade canopy will reduce the heat factor by 70%, protecting fans from the elements.
70%, as we heard before.
It will position downtown Jacksonville as an essential stop for the biggest entertainment and sporting events in the world. Major concerts, music festivals, international soccer matches and tournaments, and improve our community's candidacy to play host to major NFL events such as the NFL Draft. We know that our community deserves the best, and we're going to deliver the best. This will be much more than a stadium. It will lead to the reimagination and renaissance of existing nearby communities, such as the Out East neighborhood, serving as an economic generator that has been missing for too long. It will help to redefine downtown Jacksonville as a place where business and higher education intersect, with the potential of a new University of Florida satellite campus on the fairground site. It will be a driver in the growth and evolution of our industries and workforce, creating jobs, inspiring careers, and capturing the imagination of people everywhere. This venue is much more than just a stadium. It is a reflection of our city and community, celebrating the essence of who we are while casting a vision of who we're becoming. Welcome to the new home of live sports and entertainment in Jacksonville. It was always the Jags. It is and will always be Jacksonville. And we will always be Duval.
All right, that was that. What were your final thoughts about that whole video? Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you
There
hear
you
me?
go. Yeah, now I can hear
Okay.
you now.
Yeah, I will say that it was always the Jags at the end. That was beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
That was a nice touch. I mean, it's kind of funny where I think the first thing I thought about was with the roof and the shade, less heat. But man, I remember the Chargers game. It was so cold. It was so.
It was. No, you aren't lying.
I remember I had like a shirt underneath, and then a hoodie, and then over the hoodie was this jacket, and I was still fighting for my life. So that'll also be nice for whenever Florida wants to be cold. For any future, night playoff games,
That's a good point, though. They said they try to have the air from like the sea breeze by like the St. John's River or whatever. They're trying to ventilate cold air in and warm air out. What would that even feel like when it's cold air in? I don't know. We're asking like too many of the wrong questions, but it's something to think about for like, yeah, those December, January games where it's like 40 degrees out there.
Think now the big question is what will the Jags do up until the season is fully complete? There's been some rumors that they might be in Daytona. Some rumors that it's Orlando.
Some
I
say it's Gainesville. Like apparently they're going to
I
meet in
don't.
Gainesville too.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's Daytona Beach the Daytona Beach Jags. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it. But okay, what city would you pick? Like
If I
personally?
had, oh, I do Daytona. I think I'm a little bit biased because I'm along Beach Boulevard where I can get back onto I-95 easily, and it's just an hour 15, hour 30 straight shot to Daytona. I wouldn't have to go through like the rural areas if it was at Gainesville. Orlando would be an extra 45 minutes. So I have to wake up even earlier to go there. I
Yeah, I was
think,
gonna say.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to
No,
cut you
no,
off.
go for it. I mean, because it was not it's just going to be such a long drive to the in Gainesville. I think the main issue for people that do go to Gator games from Jacksonville, they say it's just one way in, one way out. Whereas if it's in Daytona, there's highway getting in there. I don't know how many people from Jacksonville would be driving from Jacksonville to Daytona every other week, but it'd feel like more plausible than say a Gainesville or an Orlando. God bless whoever does.
Yeah, I could be 10 minutes away from Gainesville, and I would not want the Jags to come to Gainesville. Well, actually, no, that's wrong because I don't think I would ever be 10 minutes near Gainesville.
Oh,
Um, anyways,
fair enough.
but obviously, since I live closer to Orlando, I'd be more biased. But I think in terms of the vibe, I don't know. My heart is set on Daytona. I think Daytona actually would be pretty cool. Plus,
It
I
would
want an
be
excuse to go to the
the
Daytona
Speedway.
more.
Oh yeah.
That and I want to try Bethune Grill. I know. Shout out Keanu. Keanu would just go get Bethune Grill after every Jags game if they came to Daytona. Like win or loss, he would just go to Bethune Grill. So Daytona would be pretty fun. I guess we'll see what happens. That's not
I
not
like
this
how
year,
that's
but
the general consensus they told us. Like, hell, it'll be fun. If it's 2 years, if we actually have to just get out of Jacksonville, if they can't renovate UNF, if they can't renovate the ball grounds to hold football for like 2 years, then like whatever. Do it at Daytona. It's fun. It's a fun little experiment because the University of Tennessee already did it at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and they have had football before there in Daytona. Maybe not like in 30 years, but it'd be fun to do for two.
I
They can
I think
repurpose. They can repurpose it for two
Daytona
years.
Beach Jags would kind of have a nice ring to it. But yeah, I guess we'll see. That's gonna be really exciting. I guess just to funny to follow along, just inside jokes, who gets bet where. Hopefully it's just a city that has, cool places. So, whether it's Orlando, Daytona, um, hopefully not Gainesville, but I guess we'll
Hopefully not
see.
London, even though that's another option that they would NFL would try to examine, but I don't think they're gonna try to take away. Maybe they'll do the two home games then, but I don't
They'll
know.
expand. But
Yeah.
speaking of relocations, the next time the Jags come back to the field, they won't be on, TIA Bank Field, but they've got the new, what is it, the Electric
Miller Electric, yeah,
Miller
Miller
Electric
Electric Center.
facility?
Yeah.
Okay, I came a little bit close. Just training camp. It's so close around the corner, but it's still so far. But we're getting there. Definitely have kind of more of training camp preview with some things like that. But I guess did veteran minicamp, veteran OT minicamp came recently.
Josh Allen
Josh
showed
Allen,
up. He finally showed
the
up.
stinkers there. I mean, I wasn't like worried. It's OTAs. I'm not panicking over. He needs to show up to veteran minicamp and OTAs in order to get 12 sacks. Like he'll be fine. Um, so I guess that was like the main big thing. Obviously it was that mini camp, but Doug was already pretty chill, so he didn't force too many guys to show up. Oh, we have to talk about the paintball.
Oh, absolutely. We got to talk about the paintball. Have you ever been paintballing before? I've
I
personally
have
never
not been
paintballed.
paint, and that it looks so fun, and seeing the Jags paintball made me want to go 10 times more. We need to we need to talk about saying Trip Bulky, man.
Just trying ballgame in the middle
I
of the
can't
lines.
believe I can't believe that the 180 bulk he's done has been fucking crazy. I'll give him that.
Oh no, 100%. Like one of the most unliked. We still have clown wigs. I have mine up there.
It's the
Like
fact that
it
he
looks at
kept the
me every
clown.
single day.
It's the
Yeah,
fact that he kept the clown on his desk just to piss us off.
I know.
I'll
Just
give
use it
him
as
that.
motivation to try to prove us wrong, which, fair play. I want to prove us wrong too if entire fan base call me clown for just trying to do my job. But,
No, but
doesn't mean
dude,
he's
that
prone to
paint
criticism, but we respect the dog in him. He's got that dog in him.
he
Whether that
does
dog brings us to the Super Bowl or not,
he
that's to be
does have
told.
that dog in him. No, but yeah, that whole paintball video looks so fun, man. I was just it's so great seeing the team chemistry even now, and just seeing what Doug's trying to build, and just comparing what we already have, like going into year two of Doug versus when we just started out with the he who shall not be named experience just a couple years back in that culture. Mr. No Fly Zone, literally.
Yeah, definitely.
So man, it's just crazy seeing the complete 180 and how Doug's been able to get the team to buy in. And obviously it's only mini like OTAs and mini camp. I get super excited. Um, is there a player that I guess you want to highlight, just like reading from OTAs, minicamp? Anybody that like, obviously you can stand out in a limited capacity, besides Calvin Ridley, because I feel like we could both talk. I know I could talk about Ridley for like 15 minutes on end.
Oh, I mean, that's your Broward boy, of course. You gotta rep South Florida for sure. But I'll go with the obvious, and we're gonna slowly transition to what I know we talked about before we started this podcast today. We're gonna start with some hot takes, and we'll just do the obvious one. I'm gonna go Trevor Lawrence. I know I'm so original, but I did make a bet with a friend recently who is not a Jags fan, but Atlanta Falcons fan and super hater. I know he ain't watching this, but Antonio and I made a bet that Trevor, well, I my hot take for the offseason basically is I put $100 down that Trevor Lawrence will finish top 3 in MVP voting at the end of the year.
But where's
That's
the
how
hot
big.
take?
Oh,
Where's the hot take?
I mean, there's so many MVP candidates that you could think of. Probably, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, obviously.
I mean,
That you know
you're not wrong. I think
Lamar
I heard in the
Jackson if he stays healthy. Just
feel like I've heard that take on like Might Have Been Good Morning Football where somebody else said that, like was saying specific Trevor Lawrence will be top 3 in MVP voting this year. So that's not even just from Jags fans. I think just national media. So I don't even I mean top 3 itself is a hot take, but I also think people are starting to think that he will enter that next year. So
So my train of thought on making that bet with him, $100. So it's a cool Benjamin. But my train of thought, AFC South schedule, we have a lot of home games to start out, and year 2 in the Doug Peterson offense. Last quarterback that he had a full head coaching tenure, Carson Wentz, MVP caliber season before he got hurt toward the end of the year. I mean, it's kind of banking on history repeating itself. But with the generational talent Trevor Lawrence has, and with the number 1 receiver in Calvin Ridley, God please stay healthy. It's a recipe for something special, in my opinion. We could see something very special for Trevor Lawrence this year. And that should be the expectation for him. And I know he's probably having those expectations himself.
yeah, I mean just like I think of the fact that Doug Peterson at year 2 got Carson Wentz, who we know Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback. There's a reason he's not still been unsigned. Even in that year that he went off, he had like 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions before he got hurt. His completion percentage was only 60%.
And the weapons around him,
And
too. Who was his number 1 receiver? Alshon
the
Jeffrey, his number
the
1 running
weapons
back.
were
Yeah.
it was kind of honestly like the Jags a little bit. It was just more like spread out because Alshon was good that year, but not he didn't even have like over 1,000 yards.
They had Ertz and like not even Goddard yet. They got Goddard the year after. It was just it was Ertz and it was Trey Burton at tight ends.
They just had a
Yeah.
lot of different number two guys, and that all worked well. So I think just in terms of Trevor being better, Doug's more experienced, he knows what works, and honestly, on at least on paper, like if Ridley's healthy, the passing weapon, like just the weapons as a whole, are better. Offensive line, I mean, obviously the Eagles, even
Yeah, they had
2017 had the
they
best
had one of
offensive
yeah,
line
they had
that
one of the
we see
best
now.
top 5 offensive line of football.
So I mean, hopefully Doug and Roush are getting there. So, but I don't think it's a crazy hot take, honestly. Um, I guess my not even honestly super hot take because I've always been excited. Um, I think that out of all the outside linebackers right now, Yasir Abdullah will finish like third in either like pressures or sacks.
You're
And
gonna think top
obviously,
3 in general.
I
Interesting.
mean, it's really obviously Josh Allen's going to play most of the time on the edge. Like he might go inside passing downs some, but I think Trayvon will do it more often. So Josh is going to
Oh,
be
for sure.
outside when Trayvon goes outside. I mean, I know this coaching staff is high on Chaisson. Like, he's going to get a chance to play. There's still Jordan Smith, Deshaun
No,
Dixon.
he
Although,
doesn't exist. I don't know who's Jordan Smith. Does not exist. What has he done? I don't
you
know.
know, it's like me partially being he has I mean, he'll have to fight for the roles, but there's nobody entrenched. So if Dula beats those guys out in training camp, I think he's right away got, the third rotational edge spot, unless, they still haven't signed anybody at edge.
Hmm.
So I think they're just kind of going to roll with all the guys. And I mean, honestly, I think Abdullah's got a good of a chance to
As the other two, yeah. As the other two, because Chaisson, first round expectations, has not lived up to it at all. Sack Guru with what, 2, 3 sacks?
Chaisson May, it's three sacks in 3 years.
Sack Guru, 3 sacks, a sack a year. Like, I'm
Not
impressed.
not
What a
not
guru.
sacks, Guru, just sack, like a
Yeah.
singular sack. How to get a singular sack a year? I'm the guru. You want more than that? You're out of luck.
But yeah, I mean, after like Allen and Trayvon, someone needs to step up rotation wise. They lost Arden Key, made a
I
lot of
know
money in Tennessee. The one who built it all, if you
the one who
remember.
built Jacksonville. How are they going to build a stadium without Arden Key? I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
I know. Very, very disappointing. Very
But
disappointing.
I know, yeah, they had like Deshaun Dixon. He was trying to play more of an interior, even though like he's also an edge guy. He was trying to play interior, which reminds me a lot of what they're trying to do with Arden last year. But I mean, I don't know. I guess just the rest of the room is so many question marks that if Abdullah can, play ahead of expectations and really come up with a hot start, I mean, we'll see if Jordan Smith can actually show something this year. I mean, Chaison's like he's the best option, like the coaches I would pick right now. But by week 8, are they going to keep going with Chaisson? Like if he just keeps having an average year and has a singular sack, and Abdullah's kind of flashing. If it's week 8, week 9, he might steal some snaps, especially if you don't want to resign Chaisson, you want to resign, or if you have Abdullah in the wings. So that's my kind of he has a fairly decent chance to play snaps earlier this year because I mean, look at the rooms around him.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a big brain move kind of thing because he's going his 4th year to decline the 5th year option. Because why would you do that with a guy with a production of 3 sacks in 3 years? But I guess the big brain logic is that, oh, you're in a contract year. Maybe you can get a contract if you play kind of decent this year. But also, it's like you spent a top 20 pick on this guy. It's not even the same regime that brought him in the first place. And it's you know, like if you're trying to contend for a Super Bowl, you kind of want the best pieces around you ASAP, which is why I mean we've been praying that they added a pass rusher, and they still obviously have not. But it's just something to look, that the shot for Yasir Abdullah, he looks sick. Everybody likes his take. Very versatile. He'll probably see the field more than we think year one. I mean, at least I hope so, because if he's at his peak potential, um, you never know. He could be that rotational guy that we were begging for across from Josh Allen with kicking Trayvon inside and having a Roy Robertson Harris or like a Devon Hamilton as like the fourth designated pass rusher in those third and longs. It would just, it would help us out tremendously if it works out.
No vet nickel, no vet edge, just draft picks and vibes.
I think that's the thing, though. I think legit because we already talked about Trevor Lawrence, top three MVP race. I think this whole team is legit set up for Trevor Lawrence to just go score 30 every single game. Just outscore them.
I was gonna say, at the very least, just given all the offensive, even like this draft, based on what they did, they can survive. It really just depends on the playoffs, but regular season wise, they can outscore most teams. I guess one other thing I know, kind of, I was inspired by listening to Jag Report by good friends, John and Chip.
Oh,
Oh,
for sure.
sorry, John and Gus. I said John and Chip, but
John Shipley, Gus Lug, shout
and
out.
then yeah, Gus, he had this hot take where he thinks that Michael Hasty is going to be second in carries and just in touches in the running back room, and I
That's
don't.
really, he said
I
second
mean,
Jamal Hasty,
I can
Jermichael
see it,
Hasty,
but I
John
don't.
Michael.
Yes, Michael Hasty.
Yeah, yeah, close
Oh,
enough to me.
John Michael Hasty.
Oh boy.
Hey, just get a 22. I'll
Oh,
get you a custom jersey.
oh
I
boy.
mean, I know, just the coaches, they do seem to really like Tank, so I'm very
Yeah.
much, it's possible. Like the running back rotation, I think is just, I'm really curious to see how it's all handled because obviously you have ETN. I think he's gonna get 70% of just the lion's share of the touches. And then it's just how are those situational, pass blocking, third down, third and short versus third and long,
Mhm.
what kind of guy? I mean, they've been raving about Tank so far at minicamp, just the fact he's been able to catch the ball well. So I'm really curious. I know Gus was, Hasty's still a pretty good, reliable guy, which I think Hasty's definitely good to have in rotation. I still think Dearness Johnson can be competition just in terms of like depth and also another power guy. So that's another thing where training camp, I'm really curious to see how the running back snaps are divided. And then they also drafted this 1/5 round guy last year from Old Miss. That they
Oh,
traded
Snoop
up.
Connor.
I
Poor
was like,
Snoop.
I know I'm forgetting somebody. There's another running back.
Yeah, he's there. He's probably
Oh,
gone because
like
they already
Makai.
drafted the power back to replace him the year after they draft the year. That's just a bulky thing. He always drafts a running back every single draft, and we do not know why. Even back to San Francisco, he did the same thing. He even drafted the son of Fred Taylor, Kelvin. Why did he keep drafting running backs? We'll never know. One of them gonna pan up eventually, hopefully. But yeah, on to Tank Bigsby. I mean, yeah, it just depends how many times we're gonna be in those third and short, or if they feel like ETN can't hold on to the ball because for the end of last year, I feel like every other game he had a fumble or he had a really bad drop and really bad situation. That kind of put us back on some certain games. And so, if they feel like they can't trust ETN in the backfield, does Tank Bixby just get the lion's share of the carries? As much as, you don't want a first round pick to be benched, but it's just something to put in the back of your mind if he keeps having those drop and fumble issues going into next season.
Yeah, I definitely think he'll be able to be prepared for it more, just, having another season in the NFL. Obviously, he only really played one season, so we'll see. And I don't want to give him too much of a break because the injury, like, when you go a year without playing football, I think that definitely kind of set things off. So we'll see. I'm just really curious how this backfield looks. And obviously, we talked a lot about the Eagles, the one Super Bowl year, and I remember the Eagles, they had like Garrett Blunt, who was like kind of the main guy. They traded for Jay Ajayi. They still had Corey Clement, who was like kind of the pass catcher. I think he had like 100 yards in the Super Bowl. So even the Patriots weren't expecting it, but that could be like kind of like a where Hasty comes out of nowhere and has like a random good receiving game because nobody's expecting him. So I don't know. I know with Doug, they're probably like you said, they're going to be able to have a good game script where they're going to be up a lot. So if the defense makes one or two Mike Caldwell turnovers, they're going to be in position to, they can try to run the ball. So it's just how's that running back room going to look? Are they going to want to ISO with a couple big Travis runs, or are they just going to want to I feel like Travis is the pot like regular most games, like he's the RB1, so for the most part of the game, he's gonna get the looks, and then maybe they want to ice it more with Tank, so they kind of go to a power look, or they just say, "Hasty, hey, we're reliable, we can count on you." I have no clue. I
It's
still
all
think Dearness
speculation at
Johnson.
this point. Dearness Johnson. Of course you're a big fan. Well,
He's just been a good depth player that's also good on special teams. That's
yeah.
also like efficient. Like, it's not even I'm like a huge like sleeper, but he's a good rotational running back.
Yeah, I'm curious if they'll keep 3 or 4, like you said. Don't
I think
they with
4
this look,
because
yeah.
special teams
That's always important for sure. And they've also used Tank. I think they used Tank Bixby as
as
kick
like a
returner too.
returner. So
Yeah. As much as they NFL doesn't want teams to kick off the ball these days, he's probably going to be that option if they do kick it short out of the end zone. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, yeah, there's always still Agnew, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. But maybe they'll just try to save him for punt returns. Who knows? But I guess we'll stick with the offense because I feel like the whole eyes on this team will be the kind of step that Trevor Lawrence and the offense takes. And I'll just go with it just straight up. I don't think Cam Robinson suits up for the Jaguars ever again.
that's that's a hot take. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll like be benched. I just think Anton Harrison will just get off to a hot start and to where, they don't ever want to touch that rotation. I think just getting, pegged for the PEDs after putting belief in him and paying him that much money just to fail a drug test and probably going to be missing at least 4 games to start the year. I just don't think that'll fly in this offense. I think he's just going to be gone, whether that's a trade, whether that's just a cut and just deal with it deal with the cap later because you save most of that money anyways next season. I just think that Cam Robinson has started his last game as a Jaguar.
in an ideal, mind you, this is coming from somebody who's been I have not been pro Cam. I mean, in an ideal world, everybody is healthy enough where Cam comes back and you can say we don't like if in an ideal world the offensive line is healthy and playing well enough where we don't have to put Cam in to make changes. Um, it's NFL offensive line, 5 players over 17 games. That's like what I can't even count the amount of starts. It's under 100 starts, like for each like individual
Oh,
player.
so like yeah, for
But
17 starts, it would be 85 starts. Yeah, 85 starts per.
we can do math on the show.
Yeah, I can do just a lot, numerical math in my head, but yeah, I mean, I do get what you're trying to say. Offensive lines never tend to stay healthy.
So
We
you
lost Ben Barch at the last year, so then we had to be forced to play. God, who replaced Ben Barch last year? I can't even remember now.
it was Shatley.
Oh yeah, it was Shatley.
So even if you think that Cam is not one of the 5 best offensive linemen on this team, which depending on how you shake it, like you said, I mean, I'm not his biggest fan. It really depends on how Anton looks at right tackle.
Hmm.
But even if you think Cam is not one of the 5 best players to start, just the war of attrition, you're kind of gonna need him. So I mean, don't get me wrong, like I definitely think that if a trade was going to happen, I feel like it would have happened already.
That's
So,
true.
and I don't know if I just feel like as a competing team, like are you going to let go of an offensive like you just if you cut them this year, you don't gain anything. And even if they're kind of pissed off, they definitely do need the depth because and every team in the NFL just needs more offensive linemen. Although I'm just really curious if he's ever going to
Start a
if it's
game for us again. Yeah.
not even start, but if he's I want to see if he would play guard, but I know he's like big toys to playing tackle. My just whole thing is if Walker Little's playing, like if Walker's playing well at left tackle, do you really want to shift
Yeah,
Walker to get
inside.
Cam
Yeah,
out?
yeah, exactly. You don't
I
want to
mean,
kick a guy inside after he's playing well at that position because we've seen Walker Little at very least is a very solid left tackle. Like you don't need to touch that position if he plays well
it.
enough.
I don't know. I guess I think just Cam's skill set fits better at guard than tackle. I just always think he's been a better run protector than a pass protector, and just like his best strengths are more so like his power. I've always thought he him on the interior would be pretty solid, but I'm also not an offensive line coach, so I could be completely wrong. I don't know. That's just me. Um, I guess we'll see. That really just depends to when training camp does happen. Where is Cam going to line up at first? Because they're going to prepare to start the season without him, so he's not really going to be on the first team that much. They're gonna want to get Anton and Walker those reps because those are the guys they know are going to be there week one. So is Cam just going to have to humble himself? We'll see. This is definitely really interesting.
Yeah, because
So
that's probably the biggest question mark on the offense going to the year is the offensive lineman for sure.
and also just I know PFF hates Luke Fortner. I mean, people says looking stronger at camp. So I know that was main Fortner's biggest things was just obviously the mental side was there, but physically he just wasn't ready. So if Fortner can, we'll see how he looks during camp. Barch, he said he might not be ready for training camp, so that one's definitely also pretty
Yeah,
curious
because that left
because
guard spot is like the big question mark on who will take that, you know, starting day.
that's hopefully in an ideal world you can, if Cam and Barch are fighting for it and kind of holding it down, but I don't know, man, and that's just the offensive line. We know
Josh
Scherf's going to be holding
Wells.
it down.
This they re-signed Josh Wells in the offseason too, right?
I mean, at least there's depth though. So that's
Yeah, that's
I'm just
true.
glad it's not like unlike the Colts when they got Josh quarterback. The Jags are putting effort into the offensive line. So we'll just have
Fair
to see
enough.
how it'll manifest. And then yeah, I guess just one last thing. Not really about the offense, but just with the defense. We'll see how the secondary plays out because there's just so many dudes. Um we
Yeah.
have
Tyson
absolute
Campbell, yeah, dog. But like everyone else, I mean, besides like like we have the three dogs back there in Tyson and Cisco and Rayshawn. They're all dogs. They all proved that they earned their spot at the end of last year. At least in my opinion, I feel like it. As much as Rayshawn had his question marks early on in his Jags career, you can't take it away from his December onwards, November, December onwards last year.
Rayshawn is like the ultimate like I'm not perfect, but whenever I do make a play, I'm gonna like change the game. So, um, yeah, I mean, honestly, there's pretty much only really one spot open like for starters for the grabs.
It's a slot
Um,
corner. It's
I
a
mean,
slot corner.
honestly, my other like I don't even think this is gonna be a hot take because my prediction is that we're still gonna have Trey Herndon start at the nickel position. Which it's like a part of me is just guys are going to get better
Hmm.
as the defense as a whole gains more experience and understanding. Because for Herndon, obviously, Herndon is what he is. He's an undrafted depth corner. He's not a lockdown guy. He wasn't, great on the outside when he played, but having to go from outside. We talked a lot about Fadarius Williams, how he played better
On the
at
outside.
transitioning. Yeah, so I'm like my slightly mild take is that just Herndon is at least looks like a better slot corner during camp just because of his understanding. And obviously, I'm not thinking he's going to be like a lockdown corner, but my guess is that he just takes the job in camp. A, because he understands the scheme better. He's more prepared to play inside. He has tape to watch over. And B, there's so many young players who are unproven at nickel that
You're
the
gonna be
coaching
scared
staff's
to play someone else.
the coaching staff is probably like, I mean, I would love for, one of the rookies to play with their hair on fire and look like that dude. I can't say that with a certain degree. I mean, maybe they step up as depth players. So
Yeah,
if there's an injury, then you plug them in and there's not a huge drop off, which is what you're hoping for. But my guess, as much as I'm disappointed to say this, it's probably the right, like the true option is that it's probably
just
going to be
stick with Trey
Herndon.
Herndon. Yeah. I mean, one of those 20 million third day 3 picks that we took last year better pan out at slot corner
I
eventually,
mean,
right?
when you take 5 DBs in like round 3 over 2 years, I mean, yeah, I still think that Antonio's is going to probably be like a future star. I mean, obviously, I have not seen him play, just based off in terms of play style, where he was projected, how he fits within his defense. I think he's probably going to replace Rayshawn, just in
Antonio
terms of
Johnson, that Texas A, is it the Texas A&M guy that we took, I think.
he plays. I'm honestly at college. He played very much like Rayshawn did, where he was great in the line of scrimmage. Like you want him really going downhill. You don't need him dropping back a ton.
Hmm.
But he was making plays in his air ball round ball carriers. So I'm pretty hopeful Antonio will be good. The other 4 corners, no idea. I mean, well, actually, no. I still have said before that I have some faith in Buster Brown solely because Buster Brown is a good football name. So, I'm holding out hope for Buster Brown. Everybody else is kind of like, well, we'll see. I mean, Greg Jr. He's got another year under his belt to train the system. We'll see if he's better as an outside corner. And then I think for, just Hallett and Christian Braswell, I'm not sure if they're starting exclusively inside at nickel or if they're cross training to play inside and out. That'll be really interesting because I think besides Herndon, like who even is the backup nickel right now? Like as scary as we've said starting Herndon can be. Herndon's out at, like slot. I don't know who his backup would be right away.
Yeah,
But
I mean, at the end of the day, like I said before, we're trying to go for 30 points a game. As long as we can outscore the other team, I
you
think.
just need to get 1 or 2
Yeah.
turnovers a game.
Yeah.
That's how I play Retro Bowl.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's mainly it. Are there any else like another training camp preview you want to talk about? Any other players? Any predictions?
Brandon McManus is going to break the kicking record. I'm just kidding. I'm not going that. We're
I
in Florida.
mean,
He's gonna break the longest field goal in team history, maybe. It's 59 yards still, isn't it, to this day?
if it's a pretty sunny day, could he make a 60-yarder?
I think he could. He's
I
got a
think he's
strong
got
leg. Yeah.
he's I think he's got a shot.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a pretty decent prediction to make. He'll break the team record for longest field goal in
Okay.
Jaguar history. I don't know. That's just something that I just thought of on the top of my head.
Okay. Bold prediction.
Oh,
The longest touchdown in team history this year from scrimmage is scored.
really? I mean, the longest one you can think of in my head is at
I'm
least
pretty
the
sure
90
it's
yard
I'm
Fred
pretty
Taylor
sure
run
it's
still, right?
tied between the 90-yard Fred Taylor run and the Dolphins, and then Jag Saints 2015.
Blake
Allen
Bortles to
Robinson had
Allen Robinson. You
yeah.
just burned, it's just slow rear receiver burning down an even slower cornerback. And what was his face? That Brandon Browner, right?
I
Was
think
it
I don't even
Browner?
remember.
It was that, yeah, I think it was Brandon Browner. He just toasted, and he's not even that fast. That's how
I was gonna say
toasted he was.
between ETN, who we know he can take something to the distance, between ETN Ridley and I feel like having a Zay Jones like 90-yard touchdown would actually be like completely I mean, dude, I've seen Dante Moncrief have an 80-yard touchdown versus the Colts. Anything is possible. So
Yeah.
that's my bold take that the Jags just have like a 92 or 3-yard, whether it's like a bomb to Ridley, he breaks a tackle, or he, like a
Or
quick
just a
slant.
hole opens up or something like that somewhere.
Between ETN and Ridley and the play calling and Trevor just getting the ball fast enough, That's my bold take. So
There you
we'll
go.
see if that
Longest
happens.
touchdown from scrimmage. Can you imagine if one of us gets it right? I mean, the McManus one is probably a lot safer than the longest play ever from scrimmage, but we can clip it and be like, Javal called it first. Because Javal is king, Javal is God, Javal's sexy, Javal's
I
beautiful,
wish
and he knows freaking ball.
if we it's okay. I did say that. I remember I also said that if Chaisson has like over like 5 sacks, I'll buy his jersey. So I don't I
Please don't do that, but you already said it. So I mean,
I
I
would
would
be
too at this point. Oh yeah, I think I said I'd do it with you if he did because
I know for a
five
fact
sacks.
we'd buy the jersey and then he goes to a different team.
Can we just put Saguru on the back of it? That's even more money, which is the worst. We just put Saguru on the back of my jersey. It's 45.
I think we have to get Sag Guru.
We have to have a custom made Saguru. We all have matching
We should just get
Saguru.
Sack Guru, but it just has 4 for the amount of sacks he has in 4 years after his contract. We won't have to get the jersey in that case, but a
Oh
Sack
my
Guru.
lord.
We'll
Just a
just get a
Saguru with the total amount of sacks he has to handle his Jaguar career if he
we'll
gets over
just we'll
five
just
sacks.
we'll just get Sack Guru jersey year by year, and we'll go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and then every year we'll just get a different number.
Oh my lord. Can you
I hope
imagine?
I hope his Chaison's family members don't find. Actually, no.
No.
I hope they do, and this is his motivation to just get
Oh
him
yeah.
plain pissed off.
We
So
had that Michael Irvin clip basically. He got a
nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it?
please get double digit sacks somehow. So we have to
If
buy sack
if
guru
Jason
jerseys.
if Jason had a double-digit sack year, I think we might have to retract some episodes.
No, you don't even have to. I would find where this man lives and just like go like hands and
I,
knees.
I
I'm
I would just
sorry.
I would just be like, you know what? Honestly, I'm not familiar with your game. I apologize.
Yeah, as at that point, it's like whatever charity you do, I will donate, I don't know, $45 for charity. I'm not rich. I don't have that money.
We'll just we'll dolly the dollar per sack.
Oh my goodness. $1 a sack to whatever charity. I think he probably has one or just like some we'll just have to look up what he's donated to, or maybe he had the My Cause My Cleats to whatever he wore before. And we'll just donate whatever
You donate
amount.
to the Baby Shark charity.
Maybe charity. I have no
Okay.
idea.
At some point we have it wouldn't be Jagged Edge if there's not some random roast of a Jags player, whether
Yeah.
past or current.
I mean, our number one target is Lamont Chaisson, apparently.
But who else is on the current roster outside of Cam? Yeah, which
Yeah.
we already
He's
kind of
kind
we
of earned
already
it. Yeah. He kind of earned it though.
I
But
mean, yeah,
it was gonna be Dewey, but then he kind of came up with that thing back there too. But he had a little redemption art
Winger.
last year too.
I don't know who's had a crazier 180 between Bulky or Dewey. They'll both throw 180s.
Bulky. We did clown wigs for him. It's still
I mean,
bulky,
yeah,
number one.
but at the same time, was there a single fan prior to last year who genuinely liked Andrew Winger?
That's true. I don't think anyone did. I think I got blocked oh yeah, I got blocked by another person by just telling them to go drink piss and choke
So,
because they're
so
defending Andrew Wingard on Twitter.
Chaisson, if you're listening to this, if Dewey and Bulky can have 180s, anything is possible. So if you go out there and say, "Hey, maybe I can get more than a single sack this year," just
He
one
gets 2 sacks. He gets 2 sacks. I'm dancing on the streets.
he gets if Chaisson gets 2 sacks, then this podcast is
If
resolved.
he gets a multi-sack game while we're not in the stadium, I'm taking off my shirt and I'm keeping my shirt off for the rest of the game, like it's a
Dude,
soccer celebration. It's just go.
if Chaisson had 2 sacks in one game, I think collective Jags Twitter as a whole would just like they would just
Why are we making scenarios in our head that we know isn't gonna happen? I'm just
I mean, you know what? This year anything is possible. So
hey. I said Trevor Lawrence top 3 MVP. So fuck it. Not Trayvon. Caleb on Chase. Trayvon Walker, get a multi-sack game too. You haven't done it yet either. But you're a first overall pick, and we're expecting you to make that next step. Chaisson, you've been in the league for 4 years now. Come on, bud. Get a multi-sack game. I will take my shirt off for you and for you alone.
okay. What do you think is more likely to happen this year?
Oh boy.
I can't even say it with a straight face. I'm trying to think of the
Come
scenario in my
on.
head. One more.
No.
Okay,
Just let it
okay.
out.
Cam Robinson starts every single game
I pass a
after
suspension. Yeah.
past the
Or
suspension and plays like the best year. Like he plays like barely allows any sacks. Or Chaisson plays so well that the coaching staff can't take him off the field.
I would have to go chase.
I feel like there's like actually a non 0% chance Chaisson is like a semi decent year. Like I don't know, like three. Like unironically, like me speaking, I think he has a chance to get like 3.5 sacks, like four. I mean, if the Jags are going to be up a lot, they're going to be passing. Like teams are going to be passing a lot. He'll have the
He'll
chance. It's
have to please. Just one sack. That's all we ask for.
just get like 1 sack a month.
One sack of garbage time when we're up by 20. That's all we're really asking for. That's the ideal scenario. Like
Yeah, I
week
think
one,
if
we're up 35-3 against the Colts. And like
well,
you
actually, I have a very speaking of that, I kind of have like a random hot take, is that the Colts are gonna like cream us week one, and that's how we're finally gonna be a good
Ooh.
team. I just because somehow like the Jags beating the Colts for no reason, like when the Jags are terrible and the Colts are good, is going to like all that karma is going to somehow cosmically like reverse, and the Jags are going to like lose the Colts week one, and they're gonna sit here and like be like, what the fuck just happened? Like, how do we lose to the Colts? Like how that's the Colts felt, and then the Colts are be like gonna be like ass terrible the rest of the year, and then the Jags like, okay, you just like smoke the Chiefs next week.
I know this is just all hindsight, but can you imagine being 0-1 and losing to the Colts? You have to play the Chiefs next week, though. Can you imagine what the
That would
mood would
be
be in like 95-degree weather?
honestly, that might be a good thing because that team would just be so pissed off that they probably would give the Chiefs like their A game, which I mean, every team is like most teams are gonna get the Chiefs best. So I don't know. Maybe I just feel like in order for the Jags to like finally break the curse has to be done to them, like reverse or something like that. Something
You
stupid.
know what the worst part is? I can kind of see us losing week one too. It's not just you. I can
I
totally see us doing that shit.
Like it's either Anthony Richardson starts and we lose to a rookie and he does like something stupid,
Yeah,
or
he'll run for
Gardner.
100 yards. Yeah.
It's either that or Gardner Minshew dices us up, and like that's the game where I'm like adding like this is
Please
why we
do
shouldn't have
not.
kept Trey Herndon in the starting lineup,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's the
it's a
game.
Shaq Griffin game all over again. They just target Trey Herndon the entire game. We're just gonna be like, it's fucking May,
It's gonna be week.
June.
It's gonna be year two, and Devin Lloyd still can't guard a hook curl zone, and then that's gonna be like the one game where like the whole fan base is pan. Honestly, that's such a Jags thing to do.
They
I'm
still haven't gotten out of it, the mindset, which is crazy. After the year we had, we're just like, shit. The Jags can jag this up, can they? And they are going to
It
jag this
would be
up.
so Jags if the Jags finally being good consists of them dropping a easily winnable divisional home game because the Jags have done like the backwards where it's like when we're a terrible team we can beat good. So I don't know. Maybe that's just karma for all like the times you've like spoiled the Colts and we were terrible.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. We're starting off inside Indianapolis, so it's more acceptable than if we lost the streak to
Yeah,
them here
no.
at home.
I don't if we lost whenever the home streak is over to the Colts, then
It'll
I'm
never
like,
be
okay.
over. I'm convinced it'll never be over.
It would also be pretty Jags if we like somehow the streak like loses this year,
Yeah.
and like we like if we like go into Indianapolis and smoke them. Either we're gonna. I just feel like we're definitely like going to not sweep the
We're gonna have that
division in
one
some
game. Yeah. We're gonna have
stupid game.
one game where it's just gonna be like, yeah, like the Texans game last year where we lost like 10-3. And it was just like we had 400 yards and we put up three points. Like
But I
what was
feel
that?
like it being like the Jags first game versus the Colts would be that would be the Jags. That's my last hot take is that it would be incredibly stupid for the Colts to like steal a win, and then that's how the Jags are like, okay, like now we're like official, like a good team, not the playoff win, but the fact that we like lost to a dumb game and that like flips the script forever.
every Super Bowl winner feel like they always lose a dumb game. Like the Chiefs did lose to the Colts last year, like early on in the
That game was
season.
that game was so stupid. I don't.
I remember watching that on Red Zone. I was like, "What the hell just happened? Like, how?" I think that was that before we played the Chargers. Was that the same week? I
I think it
think.
was like week 4. It wasn't week 4.
Oh,
We played the Chargers week 3.
okay. So that was during the Eagles week
So
then.
I was like,
So
like
yeah,
we lost the Eagles, and I was like, okay, how the fuck did the Colts beat the like
yeah,
what?
yeah. I think you're right. Shit, like. There's always going to be a dumb game for a team to play. It's the NFL. Whether that's
It's
the
you
Colts, whether that's the Texans, fuck the Titans. Better not be them. Hate those
no,
cunts.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean
can't be them.
The Titans make the most sense because I think they're probably going to be the second best team, but also it would be incredibly hilarious if we like how last year we swept the Titans and split the Colts and Texans. So I'm least worried because of the second best team, we have the best chances of sweeping them. That makes no sense, but that's how football works sometimes. So
Football, just sports in general, do not make sense. Like I was wearing the USA jersey. It doesn't make sense. They hired a firm just to rehire a head coach that no fan likes, but apparently the players do. So what the fuck do we know? At the end of the day.
at least they beat Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. As long as we keep owning them, it is what it is.
We'll
Any
see.
more hot takes, Mr. Javal, for the day?
Um, I
Any more
mean,
bets you want to wager besides that
any more
jersey?
bets?
I already put $100 at Trevor's top three. We already have money on the line for a sack guru jersey if he gets 5 sacks in a season
I
or a
would
multi-sack game.
I would bet every I would like the most longest shot bet is Calvin Ridley like coming back and like leading the league in either like a physical category. I would almost say fucking have the triple crown,
Ooh,
but
that's a decent one, but
if I
just
didn't
like
think he
top
was gonna
five or
start
top
off
10. Yeah,
slow,
yeah.
if I didn't think he was gonna start off slow, then I would be like, okay, because like I said, I think he's gonna have the volume,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of Doug's wanting to spread the ball around
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to kind of start really slow, or okay, I guess my hot take is Kirk leads the team in catches, but really has
The
like
yards.
by far the highest like yards like per reception and everything.
Oh yeah, yards per
Which
catch and all that.
I don't
Oh
even
yeah,
think that's like a
that's
huge hot
no,
take.
that's
I
not.
I I think the offense honestly like could function. Like they could get the ball to really like more like short yard stuff as well. Like or he could just be like a deep threat decoy.
He's just gonna be that guy that just gets open though. That was what he was best at, I feel like, when he was in his peak in Atlanta. And this is with like an injured leg, apparently, according to his players tribune. It was just him just getting separation and getting open and just Matt Ryan seeing it right away. If Matt Ryan can see it right away, what can Trevor Lawrence do with that type of weapon if he's at even like 90% of what he was when he was at his peak in Atlanta?
The crazy thing is I feel like considering that he was injured, you think he should
Yeah.
be like
Even better.
110%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing though.
So
Yeah, are we gonna see another like version, just like the Terminator at wide receiver? We're just gonna have like Megatron playing wide receiver for us? Like shit. I hope so. Goddamn, I hope we do.
because if he came back and had a 100 catch plus like fifteen
Like
hundred
Cooper
yard
Cup
plus
like
like
year when he
I
was
was no, I
like,
was
yeah,
thinking yeah like if I would bet like the long shot odds on Calvin really to take triple crown like to win triple crown, I would just bet like $1
10
on it.
bucks. And then just $10. Why not? That's an hour of work for me
I'll
after
bet
taxes.
$3, $1 for every sack Chaisson's had in his career. Okay, let's end this for real before Chaisson sends a personal vendetta.
Oh, like hey, like I said, we're bullying him to make sure he gets over that 5 sacks. So we wear the Saguru jerseys at
Chaisson,
the end
if
of
you
the year.
don't want us to shit talk you on this podcast, then play better. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
exactly. We
We
want you to
want
be good. We want you to get paid. We want you to get paid. We want you to make your money.
he's
You
gonna pull
probably
a
don't need us to
he's
say
gonna
that.
pull a Jawan and then like ball out, have 8.5 sacks, and then leave for another team.
We're like when he gets like a freaking 8-figure contract, and we're here stuck with Saguru jerseys. We can't even rock them anymore.
He's not gonna
But we had to do it just for the occasion. It's the
the
moment that made
sack
it special.
guru jerseys. Okay, we have to do that for sure.
No, that's definitely the Jagged special for the year. Is the Saguru jerseys on the line?
We'll get a Sat Guru jerseys. We'll play Baby Shark. We'll hop in a volleyball pit and just do our own workout.
Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my lord. Oh my god. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom. So you know what? I think that's a perfect way to end the fucking podcast for the day. We just spent like the last 30 minutes shitting on Caleb Chaisson. And God,
That was
that was something. Something special right
this
there.
is this might be the best episode of the pod yet.
Yeah, I just think that for future episodes, we just gotta be loose and just
All right,
sometimes
John.
you just
Well,
need to be like loose.
happy
Oh no, my internet connection's unstable. All right, Javal, thank you again for another podcast. Maybe we'll bring someone else on, like we were planning
Happy
to.
Father's Day to everybody.
Yes,
Yeah,
happy
maybe we'll
Father's
get a
Day.
guest.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try, and we're gonna try to be unserious more because that was a lot more fun to be unserious. Because holy shit.
Unserious activities. All right, everybody.
Have a good rest of your day. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Caleb on Chaisson, please. I want a Saguru jersey now. Unironic. All right, guys. Have a good
I'll
rest of your
be
day.